Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. This is the Rochester Press Box, presented by the Genesee Brewhouse, and this portion brought to you by Connors and Ferris. I'll leave it wide open. The Bills are in town now. What are you looking forward to seeing the most?
Well, let's be honest. The biggest thing is the quarterbacks. Everybody wants to see how they play. And I said it to you months ago, once the draft was held, it is a legitimate competition. It's almost like we got a two-pronged competition going on right now. How does Josh Allen look? That is first and foremost. Whoever starts is a placeholder. We all know that. Is it a week? Is it a month? Is it a year? Whichever one of those guys likely starts, it's how long are they in there before Josh Allen is ready to go. But I do think it's legitimate. I think it's a legitimate thing. I think A.J. McCarron, based on the way spring went, got a little chip on his shoulder now, which he always seems to carry, because all of a sudden, like, Nate Peterman is the guy. I think Nate Peterman was slightly ahead going in at this point. They're both going to compete. I think it's going to be fun to see, and I think they can all show. I think they're going to look good. I think there's going to be actual competition. It's not going to be the lesser of three. Look, when Tyrod won the competition, he did, and he looked pretty good, but the other two were so bad that it was almost easy by the end to say, we got to give this guy a shot. He deserved it because he won. I think it's going to be a little better this time. I think it's going to be a fun competition.
Based on what, though? like the last competition, you had two guys that were at one point starting NFL quarterbacks in E.J. Manuel and Matt Castle. It's Nate Peterman and A.J. McCarron versus Josh Allen.
Well, they're still young guys, though. They're still young guys with something more to prove, whereas Matt Castle was past whatever version of prime that he had, and we had already seen E.J. fail.
You call me fanboy all the time.
Yes.
That is the most fanboy take I have ever heard
because I'm
in
telling
my life.
I like the competition because I think both of those guys, there is no destined number one. The only thing we know is that Josh Allen will eventually be the starting quarterback. And it's just a matter of how.
Do you think he's good enough to be the franchise quarterback over time?
Oh, that I really do. I think he has the physical ability. No
agreed.
Question.
I don't know if I have the faith in the choice as
well, if
we've
Bills
had in
fan,
the past.
better hope, because they did.
Exactly.
They did this. They went all in on it.
But I agree with what Mike says. I think the competition is going to be outstanding. It's going to make everybody better. I think it's going to make the position better.
Yeah.
It's going to get the team a little bit more confident.
What's he going through? I mean, you were an NFL quarterback and you had your first training camp. What's he going through?
I think the situation's a bit different.
Yeah,
my signing bonus was 0.001% of what he signed for. In any event,
you got $21 million.
But you see, you got
I think I had $210.
That's more than us.
Yeah, right. I think the butterflies are there, the pressure's there, the big stage is definitely there, and the expectation is there. It's a matter of how he responds. How mature is he mentally? How can he absorb the offense? Is it similar to what he had in college? There's so many factors that are going to determine how quickly he comes out of the gate. And if one of the veterans starts to play better, it'll take a little bit off of him. I truly believe that.
I agree with that.
But I mean, to your point, though, anytime you have a chance to run your 7th overall pick up against a guy who's thrown 7 career NFL interceptions and 2 1/4 worth of work, I mean, you want to sit back and watch that brilliant quarterback competition.
But I don't think they're not judging Nate Peterman this spring on the game last year.
I
against
would
the
sure
Chargers.
hope not.
Well, no, I'm saying is in terms of they're giving him the opportunity to come back this spring and try to play. Look, again, placeholders. We're not saying that these guys are longtime starters. I think to the point here of saying, let them play, let them see what happens, let Allen progress. Because let me tell you something, the offensive line is a scramble at the moment, and I've never seen a position worse than wide receiver at the moment going into this. They need to have a legitimate NFL team offensively on the field before you throw Allen out there.
You're out there live every morning. Give us something else that's caught your eye.
I am really interested to see what the backup running back position is going to look like, as lame as that sounds, because listen, Shady doesn't have a great reputation as far as staying on the field for the whole season. You do have, like we talked about before, could he be missing time this season because of a suspension? And he does need the occasional spell during games. I mean, and the older he gets, the more you want to limit him. Behind him does not look so great, where your only returning running back is Tywan Jones, if I'm not mistaken.
You got Chris Ivory, who's a veteran, who's been around, and I think in a limited role, he can be good for them. And Trey Edmonds. I mean, I think every fan's going to want to see that kid. He's 20 years old. Just turned 20 years old. I think he's going to be
traded up first round to get him. Yeah, that's going to be fun. This is the Rochester Press Box, presented by the Genesee Brewhouse, and this portion brought to you by Connors and Ferris. Like it or not, is next.